Chief William's black SUV rolled slowly along the tarred road. He was not supposed to be here today. He was supposed to be at his office, signing papers, shaking hands, pretending life was normal. But grief did not respect schedules. Since the day they told him his daughter Daniella was dead, the world had become a place he moved through like a man walking in fog, seeing shapes, hearing sounds, but feeling nothing fully. Then he saw her. Under a wide mango tree by the roadside, on dusty ground, a homeless woman lay asleep. Her gown was ash-colored, torn in places, stained with mud. One of her slippers was missing. Her hair was rough and uncombed. Her cheeks looked hollow, like life had been squeezing her for a long time. Chief Williams would have driven past. He had seen many homeless people on Lagos streets. It always pained him, but pain had become a normal thing in him. But something on her neck caught the sunlight, a gold chain, a necklace. His breath stopped, his hands tightened on the steering wheel. No, it can't be. He parked beside the tarred road and stepped out, slowly, as if his legs did not fully belong to him. His driver started to follow, but Chief raised one hand. Stay. The air felt heavy. Chief Williams walked closer. The necklace shone again, bright and clear. He knew that necklace. He bought it himself. For Daniella's 17th birthday. It had a tiny shape at the end, simple, elegant and special. His late daughter's necklace, on a homeless woman's neck. Chief William's heart began to beat hard, loud in his ears. He took one more step. The woman stirred, as if she felt his shadow. Her eyes opened suddenly. She raised her head from the dusty ground, blinking at him like someone waking from a bad dream. Her eyes widened. She saw his SUV. She saw his clean clothes. She saw the way he stood. Her lips trembled. Chief William's voice came out rough and sharp. "How did you get my late daughter's necklace?" he demanded. "Who gave it to you?" The woman flinched like the words hit her. Her hand flew to her chest, fingers spread as if she was asking, "Me?" She looked around quickly, then back at him. Me, she stammered. "Sir, are you referring to me?" "Yes," Chief said, stepping closer. "I am referring to you. That gold chain belongs to my late daughter. How did you get it?" The woman swallowed hard. Her throat bobbed. Her eyes filled with fear and confusion, and for a second, Chief saw something else in her face. Something he did not understand. Not guilt, not pride, just shock, and a kind of tired pain. She tried to sit up properly, but her body shook a little as she moved. Dust stuck to her elbows. Her tattered gown dragged on the ground. She stared at the necklace like she was seeing it again for the first time. Then she looked up at him and said softly, "Sir, come down." Chief Williams paused. His pride wanted to refuse. His grief pushed him forward. He walked closer, then squatted in front of her, ignoring the dust, ignoring the heat. His eyes locked on the chain. "Tell me everything," he said, his voice lower now, but more dangerous. "Every single thing." The homeless woman took a slow breath. "My name is Patricia," she said. Her voice was weak, but steady enough to be heard. "I didn't steal this necklace." Chief's jaw clenched. "I did not say you stole it," he replied, though his tone made it sound like he almost did. "I asked how you got it." Patricia nodded quickly. "I sleep here sometimes," she said, pointing lightly to the ground around her. "Under this mango tree. It is not safe, but it is what I have." Chief's eyes narrowed. "How long have you been sleeping here?" She hesitated, then looked away. "A long time," she whispered, "since life turned its back on me." Chief's heart hardened, not with anger now, but with urgency. "The necklace," he reminded her. "Tell me." Patricia's fingers touched the chain gently, like she was afraid it would disappear. 2 weeks ago," she began, "I was sleeping here, just like this. In the night." The road was quiet. Her voice grew a little stronger as her memory pulled her in. "Then I heard a car," she continued. "A black SUV. It slowed down near this tree. I did not sit up because sometimes people do bad things to homeless girls at night. I stayed still. I pretended to be asleep." Chief Williams felt a cold line crawl down his spine. Patricia swallowed. "The SUV stopped," she said. "The engine was still running. Then a hand came out from the window. She stretched her arm as if she could still see it. And they threw something. Chief's eyes widened. Threw the necklace? He asked. Patricia nodded quickly. It landed on the ground near my head, she said. It made a small sound, like metal touching dust. Chief's stomach twisted. Why would anyone throw it? He asked, more to himself than to her. Patricia shook her head. I don't know, she said, but after they threw it, the SUV sped off. She paused, then added, I saw the plate number. Chief froze. You saw the plate number? He repeated sharply. Patricia nodded again, faster this time. Yes, she insisted. The headlights were bright, and the back was clear for a moment. I can still remember it because I kept saying it in my head, over and over, so I won't forget. Chief's mouth went dry. Say it, he ordered. Patricia hesitated, then called out the plate number clearly. The moment she said it, Chief William's face changed. All the blood seemed to drain from it. His eyes went wide, then tight, like he was holding back a scream. Because he knew that number. He had seen it before, not on his own cars, but around his life, around his business, around places that mattered. Chief Williams stood up so quickly his knees almost hit his chest. His driver, standing by the SUV, noticed the change and stepped forward. Ogre? The driver asked, worried. Chief Williams lifted one hand again. Stay there, he snapped. Then he turned back to Patricia, breathing hard. You are sure? He asked, voice trembling now, not with fear, something deeper. You are sure that is the number? Patricia nodded. I am sure, she said. If I am lying, may God punish me. That is what I saw. Chief Williams stared at her like she was holding the last piece of his broken world. His mind raced. The necklace was Daniella's. If the necklace was thrown from that SUV, then someone had that necklace. Someone took it from Daniella. But Daniella was dead, wasn't she? Chief Williams' throat tightened. He looked down at Patricia again, and for the first time he noticed something else. Patricia's hands were shaking, not just from fear, also from hunger. Her lips were dry. Her skin looked like it had not felt good water or good soap in a long time. And yet she had kept the necklace safe. She had not sold it. She had not thrown it away. She wore it like it mattered. Like it was a gift. Or like it was a sign that her life still had a little light. Chief Williams swallowed hard. Thank you, he said suddenly, the words surprising even him. Patricia blinked. She looked confused. Chief turned away, taking one step toward his SUV, but then he stopped, because he noticed something on the road. A small group of people had gathered at a distance. 2 roadside hawkers, a man pushing a wheelbarrow, and a woman carrying a baby on her back. They were watching him, a billionaire chief, standing close to a homeless woman, watching the necklace shining on her neck. Their eyes were sharp with curiosity, and curiosity in Lagos could grow teeth. Chief Williams felt a sudden fear, not for himself, for Patricia, because if the wrong people heard that Patricia had a gold necklace linked to a billionaire, they could attack her, they could drag her away, they could threaten her just to get money, and if the people behind that SUV were truly involved, then Patricia had just become a witness, a target. Chief Williams turned back to Patricia, his voice firm. Stand up, he said. Patricia stiffened. Sir? Stand up, he repeated, stronger. Now. Patricia tried to rise, but her legs wobbled. She almost fell back. Before she could hit the ground, Chief Williams reached out and held her arm. Patricia froze at the touch. Her eyes met his, wide, scared, unsure. Chief Williams' voice dropped low, urgent. Patricia, he said, you are coming with me. Her mouth opened. To where? She whispered. Chief Williams looked past her to the people watching. Then he looked back down at the necklace, and his eyes filled with something dangerous. Not anger, not grief, a promise. To my mansion, he said. Right now, before someone else realizes what you're wearing. Patricia's breath caught. Chief Williams pointed at his SUV. Enter, he ordered, and this time there was no room for argument. Patricia hesitated, trembling. The crowd in the distance seemed to lean closer, hungry for the story. Chief Williams stepped closer to Patricia and said the words that changed everything. If you stay here, they will come for you tonight. Patricia's eyes widened in terror, and before she could answer, a loud engine sound roared behind them. Another black SUV turning into the road, slowing down as it approached, as if the driver was trying to see clearly what was happening. Chief Williams' head snapped up. His heart dropped. The SUV slowed even more, and Patricia grabbed Chief Williams' sleeve with shaking fingers and whispered, "Sir, that looks like the same kind of car." And the SUV's tinted window began to roll down. The tinted window stopped halfway down. Chief Williams' heart slammed against his ribs. Patricia's fingers tightened around his sleeve. Her whole body shook now, fear rising from her like heat from the tarred road. The SUV idled quietly, too quietly. Chief Williams stepped slightly in front of Patricia without thinking. His bodyguard instincts, buried under years of grief and boardrooms, woke up at once. The window slid fully down. A man's face appeared, dark glasses, flat expression, chewing something slowly. He looked at Chief Williams, then at Patricia, then at the necklace. His lips curled into a small smile. "Good afternoon, sir," the man said casually. "Is there a problem?" Chief Williams did not answer at once. He studied the man, every line, every breath. "No problem," Chief finally said. "Just helping someone." The man's eyes moved back to Patricia. "That necklace," he said. "It's fine gold." Patricia gasped softly. Chief Williams' voice turned cold. "That does not concern you." The man chuckled. "Just admiring. Lagos heat is hard. Some people are lucky." Chief Williams felt danger in the air. This was not a random passerby. This was curiosity mixed with interest, and interest could turn into violence. The man spat something out of his mouth, then smiled wider. "Have a good day," he said, slowly rolling the window back up. The SUV stayed still for 2 long seconds. Then it drove off. Only when the sound faded did Chief Williams realize he had been holding his breath. He turned to Patricia. Her face was pale, her lips were shaking. "You see," she whispered, "they are watching." Chief Williams nodded once. "That is why you are not staying here," he said firmly. He opened the back door of his SUV himself. "Enter." Patricia hesitated. "I have never entered a car like this," she said softly. Chief Williams looked at her, really looked at her. Not as a homeless woman, not as a stranger. As a human being. "Today will not kill you," he said. "But staying here might." Patricia swallowed and slowly climbed into the SUV. The leather seat felt strange against her skin. Clean. Cold. Too good for someone like her. Or so she thought. Chief Williams closed the door, then turned to his driver. "Straight to the house," he said. "No stops." The driver nodded and drove off. Patricia stared out the window as Lagos moved past. Shops, people, noise, life. It felt like another world. She kept touching the necklace, like she was afraid it would vanish. Chief Williams sat in silence, his mind racing. The plate number Patricia mentioned would not leave his head. The necklace. The black SUV. The fake accident. The body they buried. Questions crashed into each other inside him. When they reached the mansion, the gate opened wide. Security men stood alert, shocked to see their boss with a homeless woman in his car. Chief Williams stepped out first. He turned to Patricia and offered his hand. She looked at it like it was something fragile. Slowly she took it. Her feet touched the clean tiled ground, and she froze. Everything was too neat, too quiet, too big. "I will dirty your house," she whispered. Chief Williams shook his head. "My house has seen worse," he said. "Come." Inside, the maid stared in shock. Chief Williams did not slow down. "Take her upstairs," he ordered calmly. "Clean her up. Give her clean clothes. The guest room." The head maid hesitated. "Sir, that is not a request," Chief said. The maids moved quickly. Patricia was led away, her heart pounding with fear and confusion. In the bathroom, warm water touched her skin for the first time in a long time. Dirt ran down the drain. Tears followed. She cried quietly, unsure why kindness hurt so much. Meanwhile, Chief Williams changed clothes and left the house again. This time he went straight to the police station. The officer listened carefully as Chief spoke. "The necklace belongs to my daughter," Chief said. "The plate number is correct, I am sure." The officer nodded slowly. "We will investigate." Chief leaned forward. Not slowly. The officer understood. Within hours, tracking began. Cameras, records, movements. 3 days passed, 3 long days. Patricia stayed in the guest room, clean but restless. She barely slept. Each time a car sound came from outside, her heart jumped. Daniella's necklace never left her neck. On the 3rd night, Chief Williams' phone rang. He answered at once. "We found them," the officer said. "Dan and 3 others. They confessed after pressure." Chief Williams' legs felt weak. "Where is my daughter?" he asked. There was a pause. "She is alive," the officer said. "Barely, but alive." The world stopped. Chief Williams dropped the phone. Alive. His daughter was alive. The woman they buried. The tears came before sound. At the hospital, machines beeped softly. Chief Williams walked into the room like a man entering a dream. On the bed lay Daniella. Thin, bruised, weak, but breathing. His daughter. "Daddy," she whispered when she saw him. Chief fell to his knees. "I buried you," he cried. "I buried my child." "They lied," Daniella said weakly. "They said you didn't want me anymore." Chief shook his head violently. "Never, never." They cried together, holding each other like time had stopped. Days later, Daniella was discharged. At the mansion, Patricia stood nervously in the living room when Daniella walked in. Their eyes met. Daniella saw the necklace and froze. "That," she whispered. Patricia stepped back. "I can remove it." Daniella rushed forward and hugged her tightly. "No," she cried, "you saved my life." When Chief Williams told Daniella everything, she cried harder and held Patricia like a sister. A week later, court day came. Dan stood in the dock, eyes cold. Then he spoke. "I am your son," he said to Chief Williams, "the one you abandoned." The courtroom gasped. Chief Williams' knees shook. Dan's face twisted with pain and anger. "You chose her," Dan said, pointing at Daniella, "so I chose revenge." Chief Williams could not speak. When Dan and the others were sentenced to life imprisonment, the room went silent. As Dan was taken away, he turned once more. Chief Williams wept, not in victory, but in regret. That night, Chief Williams sat alone in his study. The past stared back at him. His phone rang. It was the prison. "Sir," the voice said, "Dan wants to speak with you." Chief Williams closed his eyes and whispered, "What have I done?" The doorbell rang loudly downstairs. The doorbell rang again. Loud, sharp, and demanding. Chief Williams opened his eyes slowly, his heart heavy from the prison call still echoing in his mind. "Dan wants to speak with you." Before he could stand, the doorbell rang a 3rd time. This time, one of the security men rushed into the study. "Sir," he said, breathing fast, "it's the police." Chief Williams' chest tightened. "Which police?" he asked quietly. "The same team handling the case," the guard replied. Chief Williams stood up at once. "Let them in." In the living room, Patricia and Daniella were sitting together on the couch. Daniella's arm was around Patricia's shoulders, protective, grateful. Patricia still looked like she was waiting to wake up from a dream. When the officers entered, both women stood quickly. "Is something wrong?" Daniella asked. The lead officer nodded politely. "No emergency, miss. We just need to inform your father of a new development." Chief Williams stepped forward. "Speak." The officer cleared his throat. "Dan has officially requested to see you. He says he has something important to say, something you need to hear." Patricia felt a chill move through her body. Daniella stiffened. "After everything he did?" Chief Williams raised his hand gently. "It's all right." The officer added, "Sir, this is not a plea for freedom. It's personal." Chief Williams nodded slowly. "I will come," he said. That night, sleep refused to come. Patricia lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling. The soft mattress felt unreal. Every good thing still felt temporary, like it could be taken away any second. She touched the necklace again. She thought of the black SUV. She thought of Dan's face in court, hard, angry, broken. She whispered a prayer for peace. At the prison the next morning, the walls felt cold. Chief Williams walked slowly down the hallway, every step heavy with memories he had tried to bury. Dan sat behind the glass, hands folded. His eyes lifted when he saw Chief Williams. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Dan broke the silence first. "You look older," he said flatly. Chief Williams swallowed. "So do you." Dan gave a short laugh. "Prison does that." Silence returned. Then Dan leaned forward. "Do you know my mother's name?" he asked suddenly. Chief Williams froze. He shook his head slowly. "I don't." Dan nodded, as if expecting that answer. "Her name was Rose," he said. "She loved you. She waited for you. She died waiting." Chief Williams felt the words hit him like stones. "She told me stories about you," Dan continued, "how you promised to come back. How you promised to take us away from that small room with leaking roof." Dan's voice cracked for just 1 second before hardening again. "You never came." Chief Williams closed his eyes. "I was young," he whispered. "Stupid. I thought sending money was enough." Dan slammed his fist lightly on the table. "You sent money once," he said. "Once. Then nothing." Chief Williams' breath shook. "I made mistakes," he said. "But kidnapping my daughter, our sister," Dan cut in. "She is my sister too, whether you like it or not." Chief Williams looked up sharply. Dan's eyes burned. "I did not plan to kill her," Dan said. "I wanted you to feel the pain I felt. I wanted you to look for your child the way my mother looked for you." Chief Williams' voice broke. "You almost killed her." Dan's jaw tightened. "I know," he said quietly. "And that is why I asked to see you." He leaned back, exhausted. "I am sorry," Dan said, "not because I was caught, but because, when I saw her weak and crying, I realized I became worse than the man I hated." Chief Williams felt tears roll down his face. "I failed you," he said. "I failed all of you." They sat there, two broken men separated by glass and years of pain. When Chief Williams stood to leave, Dan spoke again. "There is something else," Dan said. "Be careful." Chief turned back. "Careful of what?" Dan's voice dropped. "The men who helped me, some of them are still outside. They are angry, and they know about the homeless woman." Chief Williams' heart skipped. "What about her?" he demanded. Dan met his eyes. "They believe she ruined everything." Chief Williams left the prison with fear crawling up his spine. Back at the mansion, he ordered extra security at once. "Patricia does not leave this house alone," he said firmly, "not even to the gate." Patricia noticed the change immediately. Security doubled. Phones rang more often. Whispers followed her in hallways. She felt like trouble had followed her into this beautiful place. That evening, she stood by the window, watching the sun go down. Daniella joined her. "You are quiet," Daniella said softly. Patricia hesitated. "I don't want to be the reason your family is in danger." Daniella turned to her sharply. "You are the reason my father has me back." Patricia's eyes filled with tears. "I was just sleeping," she whispered. "I didn't know my life would turn like this." Daniella smiled sadly. "Neither did I." They hugged. Later that night, a loud bang echoed at the gate. Security alarms blared. Patricia screamed. Chief Williams rushed out of his room. "What happened?" he shouted. A guard ran in. "Sir, someone threw a bottle with a message tied to it over the fence." Chief Williams' heart sank. He picked up the paper himself. 3 words were written in bold ink. "She knows too much." Patricia's knees weakened. Daniella grabbed her hand. Chief Williams folded the paper slowly. His face turned hard. "This is no longer just a family matter," he said. "This is war." Outside the gate, an engine roared in the darkness, and somewhere in the shadows, someone watched the mansion closely. Waiting. The message lay on the table like a living thing. "She knows too much." Chief Williams stared at it for a long time, his jaw tight, his hands steady but cold. He had faced business enemies, political threats, and public scandals before. But this was different. This was personal. Patricia sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, trembling. Daniella sat beside her, holding her hand firmly, refusing to let go. "I'm sorry," Patricia whispered again. "I never wanted trouble." Chief Williams turned to her. "This is not your fault," he said, his voice calm but heavy. "If anyone is to blame, it is me." Daniella looked up at her father sharply. "Daddy!" Chief raised a hand gently. "No, Daniella, let me say this." He took a slow breath. Every problem that has come to this house started long before Patricia slept under that mango tree, he said. It started with my choices. Silence filled the room. That night, Chief Williams did not sleep. He sat in his study, staring at old photographs. Pictures of Daniella as a child, smiling, proud, full of life, and in one dusty envelope at the back of a drawer, a photograph he had not looked at in over 30 years. A young woman holding a small boy. Rose. And Dan. His chest tightened. By morning, Chief Williams made a decision. He went back to the prison. Dan looked surprised when he saw him again. "You came back quickly," Dan said. Chief Williams nodded. "Because running from the past has nearly destroyed my future." Dan said nothing. "I abandoned you," Chief continued. "There is no excuse for that. Not money, not youth, not fear." Dan's eyes flickered. "I am not asking you to forgive me today," Chief said. "But I will no longer pretend you do not exist." Dan laughed bitterly. "Too late for speeches." Chief leaned forward. "But not too late for truth." Dan's smile faded. "There are men outside," Dan said quietly. "They are not loyal. They only followed me because they believed there was money to be made." Chief nodded. "I know." "They think Patricia is dangerous," Dan added. "Not because of what she knows, but because of what she represents." "What does she represent?" Chief asked. Dan looked away. "Your conscience." Chief Williams returned home with a heavy heart. He increased security again. He moved Patricia into a room closer to Daniella's. "She stays with me," Daniella insisted. "If anyone touches her, they touch me." Chief Williams did not argue. Days passed. The threat did not come, but it stayed close, like a shadow that refused to leave. Patricia tried to help around the house, offering to clean or cook. The maids watched her carefully at first. Unsure what to think of the woman who arrived dirty and broken, but now wore clean clothes and quiet strength. One afternoon, Chief Williams called Patricia into his study. She entered slowly, nervous. "Sit," he said gently. She did. "I want you to work in my company," Chief said. Patricia's eyes widened. "Sir?" "As a junior account officer," he continued, "you will be trained, paid fairly, protected." Patricia shook her head quickly. "I don't deserve—" "You deserve a chance," Chief said firmly, "and I trust you." Tears spilled down Patricia's face. "Thank you," she whispered. That evening, Daniella hugged her tightly. "You're family now," Daniella said. Patricia smiled through tears. "I never had a sister." Neither of them noticed the black car parked far down the street, watching. Weeks later, court day arrived again. This time, the atmosphere was heavier. Dan stood quietly, his anger gone, replaced by something tired. When the sentence was read, life imprisonment, there was no shouting, just silence. Chief Williams felt his knees weaken. As Dan was led away, he turned back one last time. "I am sorry," Dan said softly, "for everything." Chief Williams covered his face and cried openly in the courtroom. There was no victory in justice that day, only loss. Life slowly returned to normal, or something close to it. Patricia began work at the company. She was quiet, focused, grateful. People whispered about her story, but she ignored it. Daniella regained her strength. She laughed again. She walked freely. She lived. But Chief Williams carried guilt like a shadow. Every night he thought of Dan behind bars. 5 years passed. Time softened anger. Letters came from prison. Short at first, then longer. Apologies. Regret. Growth. Chief Williams read everyone. Finally, one evening, he made another decision. He withdrew the case. Dan and the others were released under strict conditions. When Dan walked out of prison, thinner and quieter, Chief Williams stood waiting. Dan froze. Chief stepped forward. "I cannot change the past," Chief said, "but I will not lose another child." Dan's knees buckled. He fell forward, crying. "I am sorry," he sobbed. "I am so sorry." Chief Williams held him. Daniella stood nearby, watching with tears in her eyes. Slowly she stepped forward. "I forgive you," she said. Dan broke down completely. The family reunited, not perfect, not whole, but healing. Months later, life surprised them again. Patricia met Jerry. Daniella met James. Love found them gently. On their wedding day, Chief Williams walked both women down the aisle. Dan coordinated everything quietly, making sure nothing went wrong. Chief Williams smiled, but his eyes shone with tears. Yet even in joy, his heart whispered a question. Could peace truly last? Or was another test waiting just ahead? The wedding hall glowed with soft golden light. White flowers lined the aisle. Gentle music filled the air. Guests smiled, laughed, and whispered prayers of happiness. To everyone watching, it looked like a perfect ending to a painful story. But for Chief Williams, joy now felt fragile, like glass that could crack at the slightest touch. He stood at the front of the hall, dressed in a simple but elegant suit, his shoulders straight, his face calm. On each arm stood the two young women who had changed his life forever. Patricia on his right, Daniella on his left. Patricia's eyes shone with tears as she held Jerry's hand. She wore a simple white gown, nothing too expensive, nothing too loud, just clean, beautiful, and honest. The same honesty that had followed her from the dusty ground under the mango tree to this moment. Daniella stood tall beside her, glowing with life. James looked at her like she was the only person in the world. As Chief Williams led them forward, memories crashed through his mind. The necklace, the mango tree, the hospital room, the courtroom, the prison gate. He swallowed hard and took another step. When he placed Patricia's hand into Jerry's, he leaned close and whispered, "Live well. Be happy. You earned this." Patricia nodded, unable to speak. When he placed Daniella's hand into James's, his voice broke. "Protect her," he said softly. James nodded. "With my life." The ceremony was simple and warm, laughter mixed with tears. When the couples kissed, the hall erupted in applause. Dan stood near the side, watching quietly, making sure everything went smoothly. He had taken his role seriously, too seriously perhaps. He checked the doors, the guests, the staff. His eyes moved constantly, alert. Daniella noticed. "You're still guarding us," she whispered to him when she passed. Dan gave a small smile. Some habits don't die easily. After the ceremony, as guests moved outside for photographs, Chief Williams stood alone for a moment, breathing deeply. He felt proud, but also afraid. Because life had taught him something painful. Peace never came without cost. That night, after the celebration ended, the family returned to the mansion. The house was quiet again. Patricia and Jerry had left for their new home. Daniella and James planned to leave the next morning. Dan sat in the living room, staring at nothing. Chief Williams joined him. "You did well today," Chief said. Dan nodded. "I just wanted everything to be right." Chief hesitated. "Dan, are you truly at peace?" Dan looked up slowly. "I am trying," he said, "but peace is strange. I don't know how to live with it yet." Chief nodded. He understood that feeling too well. Weeks passed. Life settled into a new rhythm. Patricia worked hard at the company, learning fast, earning respect. She and Jerry laughed more than they worried. Daniella grew stronger every day. She and James built a quiet, happy life. Dan stayed close to the family, helping where he could, keeping his head low, trying to rebuild his life one step at a time. Then one afternoon, everything shifted again. Chief Williams sat in his office, reviewing files, when his assistant knocked. "Sir," she said carefully, "there is a woman downstairs asking to see you." Chief frowned. "Did she give her name?" She says she knows Dan's mother." Chief's heart skipped. "Bring her in," he said. The woman who entered the office was older, her back slightly bent, her face lined with years of struggle. Her eyes, however, were sharp and restless. "My name is Margaret," she said. "I was Rose's friend." Chief Williams stood slowly. "What do you want?" he asked quietly. Margaret's lips trembled. "The truth," she said, "because the truth is not finished with your family." Chief's chest tightened. "What truth?" he demanded. Margaret reached into her bag and pulled out a small, worn notebook. "Rose wrote things down," she said, "things she never told you, things she was afraid to say." Chief took the notebook with shaking hands. "What kind of things?" he asked. Margaret's voice dropped. "About Dan's father." Chief froze. "I am his father," he said firmly. Margaret shook her head slowly. Are you sure? She asked. The room seemed to tilt. What are you saying? Chief whispered. Margaret leaned forward. Rose was not alone when Dan was born, she said, and the man who helped her was dangerous. Chief felt the blood drain from his face. Why are you telling me this now? He asked. Because that man is asking questions again, Margaret replied, and he knows Dan is free. Chief closed his eyes. A knock came at the office door. The assistant entered, pale. Sir, she said, Dan just called. He said someone is following him. Chief's eyes flew open. Margaret stepped back in fear. Then it has started, she whispered. Chief grabbed his phone and rushed to his feet. Where are you? He demanded into the phone. Dan's voice came through, tense and low. I don't know who they are, Dan said, but they're not hiding it. And they're asking about Rose. Chief's heart pounded. Go somewhere public, Chief ordered. Do not be alone. As Chief rushed out of his office, the notebook fell open in his hand. A sentence written in faded ink caught his eye. If anything happens to Dan, it will be because of the man who never forgave me. Chief's breath caught. Outside, a black car slowly rolled past the company gate. Too familiar. Too quiet. And somewhere in the city, a secret buried for decades was beginning to wake up, waiting to be revealed. The black car did not stop. It rolled past the company gate slowly, like a shadow that wanted to be noticed, then melted into the noise of Lagos traffic. Chief Williams stood still, his phone pressed to his ear, his heart pounding so loudly he could hear it in his head. Dan, he said, his voice shaking. Dan, answer me. I'm here, Dan replied, breathing fast. I ran into a shopping complex. There are many people around. Chief closed his eyes in relief. Good, he said firmly. Stay there. Don't move. I'm coming to you. He turned slowly to Margaret, his face pale. You said the man who helped Rose was dangerous, Chief said. You said he never forgave her. Who is he? Margaret's hands trembled. Victor Okori, she said. He controlled Rose with fear. When she tried to leave him, he swore she would regret it. Chief's stomach twisted. Why didn't she tell me? He whispered. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to protect Dan. She believed silence was safer than truth. Chief grabbed his keys and rushed out. At the shopping complex, Dan stood near a food stall trying to look calm, but his eyes kept moving, watching every face, every car. When Chief Williams arrived and saw him standing there, alive, breathing, his legs gave way. He pulled Dan into a tight embrace. I'm sorry, Chief whispered again and again. I failed you. I failed your mother, but I won't fail you again. Dan's shoulders shook. I grew up angry, Dan said softly, angry at a man I didn't know. Angry at a life I didn't choose. Chief held him tighter. You don't have to carry that anger anymore. That night, Chief called everyone to the mansion. Daniella came slowly, still healing, her hand in James's. Patricia came with Jerry, holding his hand tightly, unsure of what waited. Dan sat quietly, his eyes low. Chief placed Rose's old notebook on the table. There is something all of you must hear, he said. As he spoke, the truth spilled out. Rose's fear, Victor Okori's shadow, the silence that shaped Dan's life. Daniella covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Patricia's chest felt heavy. She thought of the necklace again, how a small thing could open such deep wounds. Dan finally looked up. So, I may not be your blood, he said, his voice breaking. Chief walked to him, knelt and held his face gently. Blood did not make you my son, Chief said. Pain did, time did, and love delayed but not dead, did. Dan collapsed into tears. I hated you, he sobbed, but all I ever wanted was for you to look for me. Chief cried with him. I should have looked, he whispered. I should have fought harder. The next morning, a letter arrived. Only one sentence. Tell the boy who his real father is. Or I will. Chief read it slowly. Then he did something different this time. He did not hide. He went straight to the police. He told them everything. Victor Okori was arrested 2 days later. Old cases reopened. Old victims spoke. Old crimes rose from the ground like buried bones. When Dan heard the news, he did not smile. He sat alone, eyes closed. Mama, he whispered, you are free now. Weeks later, peace returned, not loud, not proud, but gentle. Patricia gave birth to a baby girl. They named her Juliet. Daniella gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Joe. On a quiet evening, Chief Williams sat in the living room, holding both babies in his arms. His tears fell freely. "I buried a child I never lost," he whispered, "and I ignored a child I never knew. God, you were still kind to me." Patricia watched him quietly. She remembered the dusty ground, the mango tree, the night she almost died unknown. If she had not slept there, if the necklace had not been thrown. Dan stood nearby, calmer now, lighter. "That necklace," Dan said softly. "It didn't just bring pain, it brought us back to the truth." Chief nodded. "Truth hurts," he said, "but lies destroy families." The necklace lay on the table between them, once a symbol of loss, now a symbol of connection, of wounds faced, of love repaired. As the sun set, the family sat together, broken once, healing now, bound not by wealth, but by honesty and forgiveness. And for the first time in many years, Chief Williams felt something warm and steady in his chest. Peace. What is your view about this story? If you were in Chief Williams' shoes, would you have forgiven Dan despite what he did? Where are you watching from? If you enjoyed this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.